Jun Kim wiped the sweat from his forehead. The small repair shop on Mars Colony was hot today. He had been fixing broken ship parts since early morning. His hands were strong and skilled. People said he could fix anything. Jun looked at the clock on the wall. It was almost closing time. He wanted to go home, take a shower, and sleep. The last week had been busy. Many ships needed repairs after the dust storm. The door to his shop opened. A tall figure walked in. It was not human. The blue skin and 4 arms told Jun this was someone from the Galactic Alliance. "Are you Jun Kim, the mechanic?" the alien asked. Jun nodded. "Yes, that is me. How can I help you?" The alien placed a small device on the counter. It showed a hologram of a massive ship. It was unlike any ship Jun had ever seen before. "This is the Star Owl," the alien said. "One of the most important vessels in the Galactic Alliance fleet. We have a problem with its main stabilizer. Our engineers cannot fix it." Jun studied the hologram. The ship was huge. It had strange parts that seemed to connect to each other in unusual ways. "Why me?" Jun asked. "You have many engineers in the Alliance." The alien smiled. It was not a warm smile. "Your name is known, Jun Kim. They say you can fix things that no one else can. You understand machines in a way that is rare." Jun felt proud, but also unsure. He had never worked on an alien ship before. All his experience was with human technology or simple alien devices. "The job pays well," the alien continued. "Very well. Enough credits to buy that new workshop you want." Jun's eyes widened. How did they know about his dream of a bigger workshop? "How long would I need to be away?" he asked. 3 standard days. No more," the alien replied. "The ship is currently orbiting Mars. We can leave tomorrow." Jun thought about it. 3 days of work for enough money to buy his dream workshop. It seemed too good to be true. He walked to the back room where he kept his special toolkit. It was old, passed down from his grandfather, who had fought in the first contact wars when humans met aliens for the first time. The tools inside were simple but effective. His grandfather always said, "Human tools solve problems that alien technology cannot." Jun picked up the toolkit. It felt heavy in his hands. Something told him this job would not be simple. "I will go," he told the alien when he returned. "But I need to know more about this ship and the problem." The alien handed him a datapad. "All the information is here. Study it tonight. I will pick you up tomorrow at dawn." After the alien left, Jun sat down and began to read the information. The Star Owl was not just any ship. It was a biological transport vessel. It carried rare animals between planets. The stabilizer problem was in a section near something called High Security Containment Area. As night fell over the Mars colony, Jun packed his clothes and tools. He told his friend Han to watch over the shop while he was gone. "Be careful," Han said. "Alliance ships are different. They have secrets." Jun laughed. "It is just a repair job. 3 days, and I will be back with enough money for the new workshop." He did not know then how wrong he was. He did not know that the wolves were waiting. The shuttle that took Jun to the Star Owl was small and fast. Through the window, he watched Mars grow smaller. The red planet had been his home for 5 years. Now it looked like a tiny red dot. "We will dock in 10 minutes, said the pilot, another blue-skinned alien like the one who had visited his shop. Jun nodded and held his toolkit tighter. The closer they got to the Star Owl, the bigger it looked. It was not like human ships. Human ships were all metal and straight lines. This ship looked almost alive. Parts of it seemed to move and change. "It is beautiful," Jun said. The pilot made a sound that might have been a laugh. "The Star Owl is not beautiful. It is useful. Beauty is not important for ships." When the shuttle docked, Jun felt a small shake. The door opened, and he stepped onto the Star Owl for the first time. The air smelled different. Not bad, but strange. It reminded him of forests on Earth, places he had visited as a child. The walls of the ship were not metal. They looked soft, and they seemed to glow with a blue-green light. "Welcome aboard the Star Owl," said a voice. June turned to see a tall, thin alien. This one had pale skin that almost glowed in the dim light of the ship. "I am Terry," the alien said. "I will be your guide while you are here. Please follow me." June followed Terry through long halls that curved and bent in ways that made him feel lost. The floors seemed to move slightly under his feet. It was as if the ship was breathing. "What is this ship made of?" June asked. "The outer hull is standard metal alloy," Terry said. "But the inner parts are grown, not built. They are alive, in a way." June tried not to show his surprise. The living ship was beyond his experience. They stopped at a door. It opened without anyone touching it. "These are your quarters," Terry said. "You can rest here. Tomorrow, you will begin work on the stabilizer." The room was small but comfortable. There was a bed, a desk, and what looked like a bathroom. The walls glowed softly, giving enough light to see. "What about orientation?" June asked. "Don't I need to learn about the ship systems first?" Terry made a gesture that June could not understand. "That will happen tomorrow. The ship systems are complex. You will need rest before you learn about them." After Terry left, June sat on the bed and opened his toolkit. He checked each tool carefully. His grandfather had taught him to always know his tools before starting a job. He then opened the data pad that the alien had given him yesterday. He looked at the schematics of the ship again. Something seemed wrong. The stabilizer should be a simple fix. Why would they need a human mechanic? As night came, the lights in the room dimmed on their own. June tried to sleep, but the ship made strange noises. There was a low hum that seemed to come from everywhere, and sometimes he thought he heard something else. A sound like growling. Just before he fell asleep, he noticed something on the data pad he had missed before. In the section labeled Cargo, there was a note. Keris Transport, High Security. June did not know what Keris meant, but the words high security made him worry. Outside his room, somewhere deep in the ship, something howled. The sound was distant, but clear. It was not a machine sound. It was the sound of something alive and hungry. June fell into an uneasy sleep, his dreams full of shadows that moved and eyes that glowed in the dark. June woke up suddenly. A loud noise filled his room. It took him a moment to understand it was an alarm. Red lights flashed on the walls. He jumped out of bed and grabbed his toolkit. Something was wrong. Where was Terry? What about the orientation that was promised? The door to his room opened on its own. June stepped into the hallway. The soft blue-green glow from yesterday was gone. Now everything was bathed in red emergency light. Aliens ran past him. None of them stopped to explain what was happening. They all looked scared. Some were shouting in languages June did not understand. "Hey," he called to them. "What is going on?" No one answered. They were too busy running away from something. June saw a small alien trying to fix a control panel on the wall. This alien had 6 arms and was using all of them to work on the panel. June walked over to it. "Can you tell me what is happening?" June asked. The 6-armed alien looked up. All 4 of its eyes were wide with fear. You are the human," it said in a shaky voice. "You need to run. Now." "Run from what?" June asked. "I was brought here to fix the stabilizer." The alien laughed. It was not a happy sound. "There is no stabilizer problem. That was a lie to get you here." June felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Why would they lie? "No time to explain," the alien said. Its many hands moved faster on the panel. "The Keris containment has been breached. They are loose on the ship." "What are Keris?" June asked, though he was starting to think he did not want to know. "Apex predators," the alien said. "The most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. We were taking a pack to their new sanctuary world, but someone has let them out." The alien pushed a small device into June's hand. It looked like a communication tool. Go to the engine room and seal yourself in, the alien said. The Keris hunt by scent, and they have never encountered humans before. Your smell will drive them wild. Before June could ask more questions, the lights went out completely. The emergency red lights flickered and died. Now the only light came from small spots on the floor that marked the path. Go, the alien shouted. I will try to restore power. June started running. He tried to remember the way to the engine room from the schematics he had studied. It was deep in the ship, many levels down. He found a ladder and began to climb down. The ladder felt strange under his hands. It was warm, like living flesh. The ship really was alive in some way. As he reached the bottom of the ladder, he heard a noise. It was like the growling sound from last night, but louder and closer, much closer. June froze. His eyes were getting used to the dark. He could see a little now. The hallway ahead was empty, but something was moving at the far end. Something big. A pair of eyes appeared in the darkness. They glowed yellow, like small suns. Then another pair appeared beside them. And another. June held his breath. The creatures had not seen him yet. They were sniffing the air, looking for his scent. One of them stepped forward into a pool of faint light. June had to stop himself from gasping. It looked like a wolf from Earth Stories. But this wolf was huge. It stood as tall as June at the shoulder. It had 6 legs instead of 4. Its fur was silver and seemed to shine in the darkness. Its teeth were as long as June's fingers. This was a Keris, and it was hunting him. June stepped back slowly, trying not to make any noise. His hand found a door handle. Very slowly, he turned it and slipped inside, closing the door behind him. He was in some kind of storage room. It was dark, but he could see shapes of boxes and containers. The communicator in his hand suddenly lit up. A voice came from it, speaking in a whisper. This is Chief Security Officer Mina Park. Who is this? June looked at the communication device in surprise. The voice had spoken in Korean, his native language. Jum Kim, he whispered back. Human mechanic. I was brought here to fix a stabilizer. But there is no stabilizer problem. And now there are monsters hunting me. There was silence for a moment. Then the voice came back. A human. On the Star Owl. Stay where you are. I can see your location on my tracker. I am coming to you. Who are you? June asked. Mina Park, Chief Security Officer. I am the only other human on this ship. June felt a wave of relief. He was not alone. But then he heard scratching at the door. The Keris had found his hiding place. They are outside the door. He whispered into the communicator. The wolf things. Keris. Listen carefully, Mina said. There is a maintenance tunnel in the back of that storage room. Look for a panel marked with a spiral symbol. It leads to the lower decks. I will meet you there. June moved as quietly as he could through the dark room. He bumped into crates and boxes, trying not to make noise. Behind him, the scratching at the door grew louder. The Keris were trying to get in. He found the panel Mina had mentioned. It had a strange spiral mark on it. The panel slid open when he touched it, revealing a narrow tunnel. It was just big enough for him to crawl through. As he entered the tunnel, he heard the storage room door break open. The Keris had gotten in. Their growls filled the room. June closed the panel behind him and began to crawl. The tunnel was warm and seemed to pulse slightly, like the rest of the living ship. It went down at a steep angle. After what felt like hours of crawling, but was probably only minutes, the tunnel opened into a wider space. It was a maintenance area with pipes and conduits running along the walls. A figure stepped out of the shadows. June almost cried out in fear before he realized it was a human. Mina Park was tall and strong-looking. She wore a uniform with many pockets. She carried a weapon that glowed with blue light. Her face was serious, but her eyes showed relief at seeing him. June Kim, she said. Good. You made it. What is happening? June asked. Why am I here? The alien with 6 arms said the stabilizer story was a lie. Minna nodded. It was. Someone wanted to bring a human mechanic aboard. And not just any mechanic. You specifically. Your name was in the orders. But why? I do not know yet, but the Keris being loose at the same time cannot be a coincidence. They are being drawn to your scent. Human smell drives them into a hunting frenzy. A howl echoed through the maintenance area. It came from somewhere below them. Then another howl answered from above. They are coordinating, Minna said. They hunt in packs and they are smart, smarter than most people think. She checked her weapon and looked at a small device on her wrist. We need to reach the auxiliary control room. It is 2 levels down. From there, we can isolate sections of the ship and call for help. How do you know so much about these creatures? June asked. I study dangerous species. That is my job. I was aboard to make sure the Keris transport went smoothly. She smiled without humor. That did not work out so well. Another howl, closer this time. Minna pulled June toward a ladder. We need to move. They are hunting by sound now, not just smell. They will find this place soon. As they climbed down the ladder, June asked the question that had been bothering him. If they brought me here on purpose, and then let those things loose, does that mean they want me dead? Minna looked at him with serious eyes. I do not think so. If they wanted you dead, there are easier ways. I think they want you for something. Something only a human mechanic can do. A crash sounded from above them. The Keris had found the maintenance area. Hurry, Minna said. We cannot let them catch us. June and Minna moved quickly through the lower levels of the ship. The sounds of the Keris followed them, sometimes close, sometimes far away. It was hard to tell where the sounds came from in the strange, living corridors of the ship. How much farther to the auxiliary control room? June asked. His legs hurt from running and climbing. Not far now, Minna said. She checked the small device on her wrist again. 2 more sections to go. They stopped at a junction where 3 corridors met. Minna seemed unsure which way to go. The ship layout has changed, she said. It does that sometimes. The living parts grow and shift. June opened his toolkit. He took out a small flak tool that his grandfather had made. It was simple but had saved his life many times on dangerous repair jobs. This can help, he said. He held the tool flat on his palm. It began to spin slowly, then stopped, pointing down one of the corridors. It points toward power sources. The auxiliary control room will have power. Minna looked at the tool with surprise. Human technology. So simple, yet so useful. They followed the corridor that the tool indicated. Soon they came to a large door. Unlike the other doors on the ship, this one was made of metal, not living material. This is it, Minna said. She placed her hand on a panel beside the door. Nothing happened. The security system is down. We need another way in. June studied the door. He saw that it had manual controls that were hidden under a panel. I can open it, he said. He used another tool from his kit to remove the panel. Under it were wires and small mechanical parts. June worked quickly, connecting some wires and bypassing others. The door slid open with a hiss. The auxiliary control room was dark except for a few emergency lights. Screens and control panels lined the walls. Some were still working. Minna went straight to one of the working panels. She began typing commands. I am trying to isolate the ship sections, she said. If we can close the bulkheads between sections, we can trap the Keris in one area. While she worked, June explored the room. He found another panel that controlled the ship communications. Can we call for help? He asked. Minna shook her head. Long-range communications are down. Someone cut them off. This was all planned. June felt cold again. Who would do this? And why me? Before Minna could answer, a voice came from a speaker in the ceiling. The human mechanic asks good questions. June and Minna froze. The voice belonged to Terry, the alien who had guided June when he first came aboard. Terry, Jun said. What is happening? Did you bring me here? Yes, Terry replied. You are here because we need you, Jun Kim. Your skills are unique. No other mechanic in the galaxy can do what you can do. What do you want me to do? Jun asked. Something wonderful, Terry said. Something that will change everything. But first, you need to understand what is at stake. A screen on one wall came to life. It showed a large room filled with strange machines. The machines looked like a mix of technology and living parts, just like the ship. Do you know what these are? Terry asked. Jun looked carefully at the screen. The machines seemed familiar somehow. They look like Genesis engines, he said, but those are banned. They are too dangerous. Very good, Terry said. Yes, they are Genesis engines, modified and improved. And you, Jun Kim, are going to help us finish them. I will not, Jun said. Those machines can destroy entire worlds. They are weapons. They are tools, Terry corrected. Tools that can reshape planets in days instead of centuries. Think of the good they could do. And the harm, Minna added. That is why they are banned. You have no choice, Terry said. The Karis are coming to your location now. They will find you soon. Help us, or they will tear you apart. As if on cue, a howl sounded right outside the control room. Then another and another. Scratching and banging began at the door. The Karis respond to our commands, Terry explained. Help us, and they will leave you alone. Refuse, and they will hunt you down. Jun looked at Minna. She nodded slightly, as if to say, play along. I need to see these engines, Jun said to Terry. If I am going to help you, I need to examine them up close. Good choice, Terry said. Follow the blue lights. They will lead you to us. The Karis will not harm you if you follow the path. The sounds at the door stopped. The Karis were leaving. What now? Jun whispered to Minna when he was sure Terry could not hear. Now, Minna said, we spring their trap. But on our terms. Blue lights appeared on the floor of the corridor outside the control room. They formed a path, just as Terry had promised. We should follow the lights, Jun said loudly, in case Terry was listening. We have no choice. Minna nodded and whispered, walk slowly. I need time to think of a plan. They left the control room and followed the blue lights. The path took them deeper into the ship, down corridors that seemed less and less like a ship and more like tunnels in a living thing. What do you know about Genesis engines? Minna asked quietly as they walked. They were made during the war between Earth and the Galactic Alliance, Jun replied. They can change a planet very fast. Turn deserts into forests or oceans into land. But they are not stable. The changes do not last, and sometimes they cause worse problems. Why would they need you to help with them? Minna asked. Jun thought about it. The engines were designed by humans. My grandfather worked on them. He taught me how they work. Most aliens do not understand human technology well. As they talked, they noticed something strange. The lights were leading them in circles. They passed the same corridor junction 3 times. They are buying time, Minna said. Something is not ready yet. Suddenly, the lights changed from blue to red. A voice came from hidden speakers in the walls. Change of plans, Terry said. The board is not happy with how long this is taking. The Karis will escort you the rest of the way. From around the corner came one of the giant wolf creatures. Its silver fur glowed in the red light. A metal collar around its neck had small blinking lights. That collar must be how they control it, Minna whispered. The Karis growled but did not attack. It turned and started walking ahead of them. I think we are supposed to follow it, Jun said. They followed the Karis through the corridors. Soon another Karis joined them, walking behind. Then 2 more appeared, 1 on each side. They were surrounded. We are being herded, Minna said. The Karis led them to a large set of doors. These doors were different from others on the ship. They were made of thick metal with many locks. The doors opened slowly. Inside was a huge room. It looked like a mix of a laboratory and a cargo bay. The Genesis engines from the video were there. They were bigger than June had expected. Each one was the size of a small house. In the center of the room stood Terry, surrounded by other aliens. Some looked like Terry, tall and thin with pale skin. Others were different species that June did not recognize. "Welcome, June Kim," Terry said, "and Officer Park. I am glad you decided to cooperate." "Did we have a choice?" June asked. He looked around the room, taking in every detail. His mechanic mind noticed wires, pipes, control panels. He was already thinking about how everything connected. "These are the Genesis engines," Terry said, waving at the massive machines. "But they are not complete. The final integration requires human knowledge. Your knowledge." June walked closer to one of the engines. It was both familiar and strange. He recognized the basic design from his grandfather's teachings, but there were many new parts. "What have you done to them?" he asked. "These are not like the original engines." "We have improved them," Terry said. "Combined them with biological components. Like this ship, they are partly alive now." June saw containers near the engines. Inside were small silver wolf cubs, baby Keris. "You are using Keris DNA in the engines?" he asked, horrified. "The Keris are perfect adapters," Terry explained. "They can survive in any environment. With their DNA in the Genesis engines, we can create worlds that adapt on their own. Stable worlds." "Or weapons," Minna said. "Worlds that grow teeth and claws." Terry smiled. It was not a kind smile. "That too, if needed." The 4 Keris that had escorted them moved to form a circle around June and Minna. There was no way to escape. "You will help us complete the integration," Terry said to June, "or the Keris will tear both of you apart." June looked at the engines again, then at the control collars on the Keris, then at Minna. He had an idea. June stepped forward toward the Genesis engines. He had to buy time to put his plan into action. "I will need to examine these engines more closely," he said to Terry. "If I am going to help you, I need to understand how you have changed them." Terry nodded. "Of course, but do not try anything foolish. The Keris are watching you." June walked slowly around the first engine. It was a complex machine. Pipes and wires connected to tanks filled with strange liquid. Inside the liquid, he could see things moving, living things. "You have combined machine parts with living tissue," June said. "Like this ship." "Yes," Terry replied. "This ship is our first test. It grows and adapts. The Genesis engines will do the same to entire planets." Minna moved to stand beside June. She whispered, "What are you thinking?" June whispered back, "The collars on the Keris. They use a control signal. If we can change that signal." He turned to Terry. "I see the problem. The human parts of the engines are not connecting properly with the biological parts. I can fix this, but I will need my toolkit." Terry looked suspicious but nodded to one of the other aliens. That alien brought June his toolkit. June opened the kit and took out his tools. He began working on one of the control panels of the engine. As he worked, he secretly took out a small device his grandfather had made. It could copy and change electronic signals. "This will take some time," June said loudly. "The integration is complex." "Work faster," Terry ordered. The board grows impatient. "Who is this board you keep mentioning?" Minna asked. Terry smiled his cold smile again. "The board of Genesis. The true power behind the Galactic Alliance. They have waited a long time for these engines to be complete." June pretended to work on the engine, but he was really scanning the signal from the Keris collars with his grandfather's device. Each time a Keris moved close enough, he captured more of the signal. "Why choose me?" June asked Terry. "There are other human mechanics." "Your grandfather," Terry said. "He worked on the original Genesis project. His knowledge is in your blood, and in those tools you use. June felt a chill. How did they know about his grandfather? We have been watching your family for generations, Terry continued, as if reading June's thoughts, waiting for the right time, the right person. While Terry was talking, June managed to copy the complete control signal from the Keris collars. Now he needed to change it. I think I see how to make the connection work, June said. He opened a panel on the engine and began connecting wires. What he was really doing was connecting his device to the engine's broadcast system. Hurry, Terry said. We have waited long enough. One of the other aliens approached Terry and whispered something. Terry looked angry. It seems we have unwanted visitors, Terry said. A galactic patrol ship has detected us despite our cloaking. They are asking questions about the Keris transport. The real Galactic Alliance, Minna said with a smile. Not your board of Genesis. Terry hissed in anger. Finish the work now, human. We must activate the engines and leave this sector. June nodded. Almost done. He connected the last wire. His device was now linked to the engine's power source and broadcast system. It began to send out a new signal. A signal that would override the collars. There, June said, stepping back. It is ready. Terry pushed him aside and began activating the engine. At last, the Genesis era begins now. But something was wrong. The Keris began to act strangely. They shook their heads. Their eyes changed color from yellow to red. What is happening? Terry demanded. What did you do? June smiled. I am a human mechanic. We know how to fix things and how to break them in just the right way. The largest Keris suddenly growled and turned toward Terry. The control collar fell from its neck, broken by the new signal. Run, June shouted to Minna, grabbing her hand. Chaos erupted in the cargo bay as the Keris, now free from control, turned on their captors. June and Minna ran through the door of the cargo bay. Behind them, they heard screams and growls as the Keris attacked Terry and the other aliens. We need to get to the bridge, Minna said as they ran. We can call for help from there. They turned a corner and stopped suddenly. 3 more Keris stood in the hallway ahead. These still had their control collars on. My signal did not reach this far, June said. We are trapped. The Keris began to move toward them slowly, their yellow eyes fixed on June and Minna. They were in hunting mode. Back to the cargo bay, Minna whispered. Maybe we can find another way out. They turned and ran back the way they had come. The 3 Keris followed, their 6 legs moving in perfect coordination as they chased their prey. When they reached the cargo bay doors, June and Minna found them closed and locked. Now we are really trapped, Minna said. She raised her weapon, but it seemed small compared to the approaching Keris. June looked around. There was a small maintenance panel near the floor. He quickly opened it with one of his tools. This way, he said. This is a waste disposal tube. It should lead to the lower decks. The tube was narrow. June went first, sliding down the smooth surface. Minna followed just as the Keris reached the spot where they had been standing. The tube twisted and turned. June could not control his speed. He slid faster and faster until he was suddenly shot out into a large, dark room. Minna came out right after him. They stood up and looked around. They were in a garbage collection area. Piles of waste materials were sorted into different containers. Where are we? June asked. Minna checked her wrist device. 2 decks below the cargo bay, near the main engine room. A loud alarm began to sound. Red emergency lights flashed on. Warning, a computer voice announced. Genesis activation sequence initiated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Terry must have activated the engines, Minna said. Even with the Keris attacking, he managed to start the process. What will happen? June asked. If those engines activate fully, they will try to transform everything around them. Starting with this ship. They heard a noise from above. More Keris were coming down the tube after them. We need to get to the main engine room, Jun said. I might be able to stop the genesis process from there. They ran through the waste collection area and found a door. It led to a long corridor. At the end was a massive door marked with warning signs. That is the main engine room, Minna said. As they ran toward it, Jun heard growling behind them. The Keris had found them again. They reached the engine room door. It was locked. Can you open it? Minna asked, turning to face the approaching Keris. There were 5 of them now, moving slowly toward Jun and Minna, trapping them against the door. Jun worked quickly with his tools, trying to bypass the lock. His hands were shaking, but he forced himself to focus. Almost got it, he said. The Keris were only 10 steps away now. Minna fired her weapon at them. The blue energy blast hit one Keris, but only made it angry. Hurry, Jun, she said. The lock clicked open. Jun pushed the door, but it only opened a small amount. Something was blocking it from the inside. The Keris were 5 steps away now. Go through, Jun told Minna. I will hold them off. No, Minna said. We both go or neither of us goes. 4 steps. 3. Jun put all his strength into pushing the door. It moved a little more, just enough for a person to slip through. Now, he said. Minna went through first. Jun started to follow. But as he did, he felt sharp teeth grab his leg. One of the Keris had caught him. Pain shot through his body. He was half in the engine room, half out in the corridor. The Keris was trying to pull him back. Help, Jun called to Minna. She grabbed his arms and pulled. It was a tug of war, with Jun in the middle. More Keris joined the first one. Their combined strength was pulling Jun back into the corridor. Let me go, Jun told Minna. Save yourself. Never, she said, still pulling. Humans stick together. Just when Jun thought it was over, he remembered one more tool in his kit. One his grandfather had told him to use only in the most desperate situations. Jun reached into his pocket where he kept one special tool. His grandfather had called it the pulse. It was small, just the size of a coin. It could create an energy burst that would disrupt any electronic system nearby. Cover your ears, Jun shouted to Minna. He pressed the center of the pulse. It began to glow blue. Jun threw it toward the Keris. The pulse hit the floor and exploded with bright blue light. There was no sound, but a wave of energy spread out from it. When the wave hit the Keris, their control collars sparked and broke. The creatures let go of Jun's leg in confusion. Minna pulled Jun through the door and closed it behind them. What was that? She asked. A gift from my grandfather, Jun said. It breaks electronic devices. The Keris are free from control now, but they might still be dangerous. They were in the main engine room. It was huge. The ship's power core glowed in the center of the room. Around it were control stations and monitors. One monitor showed the Genesis activation process. It was already at 60%. We need to stop it, Minna said. If it reaches 100%, the whole ship will transform, and then it will start changing everything around it. Jun went to the main control panel. He tried to stop the process, but access was denied. Terry has locked it, he said. I cannot stop it directly. The ship shook. Warning alarms got louder. Genesis activation at 70%, the computer announced. Jun looked around the engine room. He saw how everything connected to the power core. An idea formed in his mind. I cannot stop the Genesis process, he said, but I can change what it does. Jun opened his toolkit and began working on one of the control panels. His hands moved quickly, connecting wires in new ways. What are you doing? Minna asked. The Genesis engines use templates, Jun explained as he worked. They read the DNA in the Keris samples and use it to reshape everything. But I can change the template. To what? Minna asked. Jun held up a small tool from his kit. This has my DNA on it. Human DNA. I am going to make the Genesis process use human DNA instead of Keris DNA. Genesis activation at 80%, the computer said. June finished his work and stepped back. The control panel lights changed from red to green. Template override accepted, the computer said. The ship shook again, more strongly this time. Parts of the walls began to change. Instead of the living ship material, they became smooth metal, like human ships. It is working, Minna said. The ship is changing, but not into what Terry wanted. Genesis activation at 90%. A loud bang came from the door. The Keris were trying to break in. Even without the control collars, they were still hunting. We need to get out of here, Minna said. Is there another exit? June pointed to a small door on the far side of the engine room. That should lead to the escape pod bay. They ran to the door and opened it. Beyond was a corridor that led to several small pods. They climbed into one and Minna started the launch sequence. Through the pod's window, they saw the ship changing more and more. The living parts were becoming mechanical. Human-style technology was replacing the alien designs. Genesis activation complete. Came the computer voice, now sounding more like a human voice. The escape pod launched just as the Keris broke into the engine room. The pod shot away from the ship, which was now glowing with bright blue light. What will happen to the ship? Minna asked as they watched from a safe distance. It will become more like a human ship, June said. Stable. Controlled. Not the weapon Terry wanted. A galactic patrol ship appeared nearby. It sent a signal to their pod. This is Captain Lee of the Galactic Patrol, a voice said. We received your distress call. Are you safe? We are now, Minna replied. June looked back at the Star Owl. It had stopped glowing. It looked completely different now, no longer organic and strange, but solid and familiar, like the ships humans built. Your grandfather would be proud, Minna said to June. You used his tools to save us. June smiled. That is what human mechanics do. We fix problems, even when alien wolves corner us on strange ships. Minna asked with a smile. Especially then, June replied. As the patrol ship brought them aboard, June thought about his shop on Mars. This repair job had taken more than 3 days, but it had been worth it. And he had a feeling it would make for a good story to tell his customers when he got home. The end.